Hi, Esther Goldberg, clinical and educational psychologist specializing in ADHD and personality. This is the last of 5 videos I've done on the CHAMP model that I developed to help parents and teachers remember how to communicate positively with their children. Just to recap for those who have not been here, I will remind you the letters of the acronym CHAMP. C is choose one component and focus on it. We will not talk about ADHD, hyperactivity, impulsivity, etc., because these are very general terms. We're going to break this up, and I will be doing this for you in future videos, into tiny bits and focus on each bit. We talked about restlessness, for example, and gave it a code name of the spring. H is how to help, how we help our children see what is happening to them, because we must remember they don't know they have ADHD, or they don't know what it means to be ADHD. They were born this way and don't know anything else. So we must help them identify and see the gifts and the disadvantages and help them learn to control, even though we know that it is difficult to control. This is not a discount coupon. We need to really help them see the point, identify it, and genuinely make an effort to control. A is the active approach of the adult. I really believe that the adult who is in contact with the child every day and who lives the child needs to help him to see the difficulties and the gifts, and not necessarily a psychologist who sees him once a week. These things don't come up once a week. They come up every day, and we need a psychologist, a knowledgeable psychologist or a professional who is well known, who knows about the subject of ADHD, well informed, to help us in the background. But the work is of the parents and of the teachers. M in the acronym CHAMP is mindful, meaningful metaphors. We use metaphors because they're a much easier way to communicate in a nice fashion with children without criticism or judgment. They enable us to play, and they connect between cognition and feelings, and they lead to insight. So P is practice, which makes perfect, and the practice is by the parents and the teachers. I want to talk a little bit about practice today. These serve as guidelines, and the sequence is not necessarily important, the sequence of the CHAMP model. So today I will address the P and remind you that P is also process. I know many of you don't have time for process. We don't have another P, patience, and we want quick fixes, and not because we have ADHD. Our P progressive world doesn't have time for process. We're into progress. We live in an instant world, and we want instant solutions. I remind you that we, ADHD, and this includes me, are born with a genuine difficulty regulating our impulses, hyperactivity, and attention. We do not know any other state, and we don't understand why we are continually misunderstood. We want to be understood. We want nothing more. ADHD has become a household term, and it's supposedly well known, and yet it is grossly misunderstood, and this is the reason I decided to start this channel despite all my challenging and objective difficulties with the camera, with talking, with ADHD, so on and on. I genuinely believe that this is a mission. I really have to say something to you, try to reach out to you out there to understand us. Believe me, we could live in a much better world. Mindfulness, awareness, and consciousness are processes that are slow. They require time in order to change perceptions based on deep misunderstanding. I believe that they are the only way to achieve real change, to understand oneself and to be understood. Daily practice will bring about this change, and the effects are lasting over time. Tips, practical solutions, and medication do improve functioning, and they are efficient, but they are insufficient as they don't tell us who we are, and we are confused in ourselves. We don't know who we are because you gaslight us and you don't let us know who we really are. Knowing and being aware of who we are brings about improvement, which brings about a feeling of success, which helps us to feel good about ourselves and leads to motivation to practice more and more. The more we understand ourselves, the reasons for our gaps in functioning or for our behavior, we consolidate our sense of self and our self-confidence. I have news for you. ADHD does not disappear over time unless we are aware of it. Many of us are aware intuitively, and that's fine. We don't need anybody to tell us that we're hyperactive. We channel it in the right directions. Many of us focus and cope because we are intuitively aware. When we are unaware and demands grow, it only gets worse, and we begin to feel bad about ourselves, underachieve, even give up, find relief in drugs or self-medication, or drop out. Undiagnosed and untreated ADHD brings with it tons of unnecessarily emotional baggage, primarily in the sense of self-esteem, and self-worth. It leads to disappointment, a gnawing sense of underachievement, anger, loneliness, difficult interpersonal relationships, anxiety, depression, and even delinquency. I don't want to go further. I opened this channel because I see the confusion and frustration of parents every day, and I do not believe to what extent this subject is still grossly misunderstood. The emotional baggage that stems from ADHD is not addressed even by professionals very often. I am here because I care. Please do not be afraid of the diagnosis. It explains a lot. It teaches us about the subject. It's an opportunity to learn and to help people understand. I reach out to parents and teachers in particular to learn a new, simple, fun language, practice it, and communicate like a champ. Again, this language is not instead of any other treatment. I am all for any treatment that is beneficial to anybody, but I truly believe that we need to combine this treatment in every encounter with children or adults with ADHD in order to talk to them about themselves, in order for them to understand themselves and to feel better about themselves. Thank you for listening.